We're counting down the 15 forgotten British lunches that once defined school breaks, pub hours, and home kitchens across the UK. From thrifty meals pieced together with yesterday's leftovers to hearty dishes shaped by rationing, marketing, and changing work rhythms, these classic lunches have quietly slipped off the nation's tables. Some fading with shifting tastes, others pushed aside by convenience. Which lost dish earns the ultimate nostalgia crown, and which ones survive only as memories? Join us as we rediscover the flavors and stories behind each entry, starting with number 15. Number 15, Bubble and Squeak, turns leftovers into a lunchtime ritual. After Sunday's roast, cold potatoes and cabbage were chopped and pressed into a frying pan, hissing and browning until crisp at the edges. The name comes from the sound, bubble for the sizzle, squeak for the cabbage as it fries. In homes and school canteens, it was a Monday staple, stretching scraps into something warm and filling. Dinner ladies and home cooks alike took pride in the golden crust, sometimes adding a spoonful of cold beef or a stray carrot, but always letting the potato do the heavy lifting. The scent of frying, the promise of seconds, and the comfort of thrift, Bubble and Squeak was more than a meal. It was everyday ingenuity, served hot from the pan. Number 14. Spam fritters were the battered badge of wartime Britain. When imported spam arrived through the US Lend-Lease program, the Ministry of Food encouraged cooks to slice, dip and fry it, creating a crispy lunch that filled the gap left by meat shortages. On March 3, 1943, queues snaked outside school canteens and factory kitchens for the first official Spam Fritter Friday. But excitement soon gave way to disappointment as supplies ran short and the batter often outshone the meat. For many, the taste became a symbol of rationing, salty, hot, and tinged with regret. After peace returned, Spam fritters quickly lost their appeal, lingering in memory as a relic of necessity rather than choice. Today, they are more likely to spark debate than hunger. Number 13. Corned beef hash filled lunch plates long after the war, its salty aroma drifting from school canteens and kitchen stovetops alike. Tinned corned beef, most often from Prince's, was a pantry staple, ready to be chopped and fried with leftover potatoes and onions. The result was a crisp-edged, hearty hash that promised comfort on a budget, perfect for busy families and factory workers. By the late 1970s, supermarket shelves were lined with tins, but changing tastes and health scares chipped away at its popularity. Supermarket reports show a marked decline in corned beef sales by the mid-1980s as fresh meals and ready-made options took over. Today, corned beef hash lingers as a memory of thrift and convenience, rarely cooked but never quite forgotten. Number 12. Liver and onions once stood at the heart of British school and factory lunches. In the decades after the 1944 Education Act, local education authorities sent out menu circulars urging cooks to serve iron-rich offal at least once a week. Liver was cheap, filling and packed with vitamins, a medical solution for growing children and tired workers. The lunch hall would fill with the sharp scent of frying onions, and plates arrived with a slab of liver, a ladle of brown gravy, and a mountain of mashed potato. For many, it was a rite of passage. Eat your liver before you could claim pudding. But by the mid-1980s, the tide turned. Tabloid headlines warning of cholesterol and health risks led schools and canteens to quietly drop offal from menus. What was once a nutritional mainstay became a rare sight, replaced by safer, blander fare. Number 11. Toad in the hole once stood as the centerpiece of the weekday lunch table, especially in Yorkshire and the north. Plump sausages, nestled in a golden puffed batter, arrived straight from the oven, hot, hearty and filling. The batter wasn't just for show, it stretched a few links of meat into a meal for the whole family, echoing the thrift of post-war kitchens. Cookbooks from the 1950s placed toad in the hole alongside roast dinners, promising comfort with every bite. But as lunch breaks shortened in the 1970s and convenience became king, the dish's hour-long oven commitment lost ground to the rise of sandwiches and packaged snacks. The sizzle of batter and sausage, once a midday ritual, now lingers mostly in memory, replaced by speed but never matched for warmth. Number 10. The ploughman's lunch arrives not from a farmhouse but from a marketing brainstorm in post-war Britain. In 1956, the Cheese Bureau and Milk Marketing Board set out to revive cheese sales, crafting a pub meal that looked as old as the hills: thick wedges of cheddar, hunks of bread, pickled onions, and a pint. Posters promised honest fare, and landlords, grateful for a no-cook, high-margin lunch, obliged. Within a decade, pub cheese sales jumped by 30%, and the Ploughman's became a national fixture, its rustic image carefully staged with wooden boards and country scenes. Yet beneath the crusty bread and sharp pickle, the tradition was less ancient than advertised, a clever bit of PR dressed up as heritage. As pub chains and sandwich fridges took over, the Ploughman's faded, its legacy now more about the power of suggestion than rural roots. Number 9. Beans on toast was once the undisputed champion of the British cafe counter and the school lunch tray. In the 1960s, Heinz churned out over 1 million tins a day, keeping pace with a nation that craved quick comfort and steady energy. The ritual was simple: hot baked beans poured over thick slices of white bread, maybe a dash of Worcestershire sauce and a dusting of black pepper. For children, it was the taste of home and the smell of the canteen, with more than 3/4 of pupils choosing it before the 1980s. But as hot meal subsidies vanished and cold lunchboxes took over, the clatter of bean tins faded from school kitchens. Today, beans on toast lingers as a nostalgic memory, a reminder of steam rising from enamel plates and the quiet satisfaction of something warm, filling, and unmistakably British. Number 8. The bacon butty was once the heartbeat of Britain's industrial lunch hour. In the 1960s and 70s, the scent of frying bacon drifted from butty vans parked outside steelworks, shipyards, and building sites, promising a quick hot meal to workers on the go. Each sandwich was simple: a handful of smoky bacon tucked into a soft white roll, sometimes with a squirt of brown sauce or ketchup. For builders and factory hands, it was more than food. It was fuel, eaten standing up, hands still dirty from the morning shift. Oral histories recall queues at break time, coins slapped onto van counters, and the first bite cutting through the cold. As heavy industry declined and health guidelines took hold, the butty van faded from city streets. Today, the bacon butty survives in memory. Its aroma a reminder of hard graft and the rituals of a working lunch. Number 7. The cold meat salad plate was once the quiet hero of Monday lunch tables, especially in homes and pubs from the 1950s through the 1970s. After the Sunday roast, leftover slices of beef, ham, or chicken would be carefully arranged alongside crisp lettuce, sliced cucumber, and a handful of pickled onions. The plate wasn't complete without a generous dollop of Heinz salad cream, a tangy, pale yellow sauce that tied everything together and gave the meal its signature flavor. This was make-do magic at its most efficient. No cooking required, just thoughtful assembly and a sense of occasion. Pub blackboards promised cold meat salad as a thrifty, filling lunch, while home cooks prided themselves on presentation without fuss. As ready-made salad pots and hot meal deals took over, the humble cold meat salad plate slipped quietly from menus, its ritual of thrift and careful arrangement mostly forgotten. Number 6. Potted shrimps and fish pastes once lined the larders of Lancashire and seaside towns, promising a taste of the coast long before home fridges became the norm. Brown shrimps, simmered gently in spiced butter, nutmeg was the secret, were sealed in little pots, the golden fat setting firm to keep the sea's sweetness safe for weeks. Alongside, jars of fish paste, salmon, anchovy, or sardine offered quick sandwich fillings or a spread for toast, their flavours both briny and rich. Brands like Chipams became household names by the 1960s, yet the real heart of the tradition lay in the homemade pots, set out with bread for a simple lunch or a workingman's snack. As refrigeration spread and new fillings crowded the shelves, these butter-bound delicacies faded from tables, remembered now as a symbol of pantry ingenuity and the quiet skill of preserving the catch for leaner days. Number 5. Shepherd's pie is the taste of Monday thrift and comfort, layered straight from the family roast. In kitchens across Britain, leftover lamb from Sunday lunch was minced with onions and carrots, then tucked beneath a thick blanket of mashed potato. The pie went into the oven until the top turned golden, the edges crisp and bubbling. For many, this was the lunch that greeted the start of a new week. Warm, filling and resourceful. School canteens served it by the trayful. Each portion a patchwork of mash and meaty gravy, sometimes with a scattering of peas on the side. The recipe lived on in handwritten cookbooks and local education authority meal booklets, handed down with tips for stretching a little meat a long way. As family roasts faded and ready meals crowded the shelves, shepherd's pie slipped from daily menus, but its memory lingers, comfort, thrift, and a sense of home, all baked into one humble dish. Number 4. Mushy peas with ham was once the thrifty heart of northern canteens and chip shop counters. Split peas, simmered slowly with a ham bone, became a thick, earthy mash, creamy, green, and packed with protein. For factory workers and school children alike, this was a lunch that stuck to your ribs, often served as a hot scoop beside battered fish, or more quietly, pressed between slices of bread for a cheap, filling sandwich. In mining towns and mill cities, the scent of boiling peas drifted from cafe kitchens, promising comfort on a shoestring. Unlike today's parade of tuna mayo and chicken tikka, mushy peas with ham was a meal that made the most of little. It stretched a single ham hock for days, turning humble pulses into sustenance for a crowd. As processed spreads and convenience fillings took over, the humble pea pot faded from view, leaving behind only a memory of thrift and a taste of salt, smoke, and satisfaction. Number 3. Fried bread was once the shimmering crown of the builder's breakfast and a lunchtime treat in its own right. Thick slices of white loaf dipped into the leftover beef dripping from Sunday's roast, then dropped into a hot pan until the edges crackled and the center turned golden. The sound was unmistakable, a sharp hiss, the promise of something rich and filling. In cafes and canteens, wedges of fried bread arrived glistening, ready to soak up runny egg yolk or a ladle of beans, their surface slick with fat and flecked with crumbs. For many, it was a taste of thrift. Nothing wasted, every drop of precious grease put to use. Oral histories from dinner ladies recall the pride in getting the bread just right, crisp, never burnt, and always served piping hot. But by the late 1980s, new health guidelines and the rise of low-fat diets cast fried bread as a villain. School kitchens and factory canteens began to ban it, citing cholesterol and changing tastes. What was once a daily comfort faded almost overnight, leaving only the memory of its sizzle and the faint scent of beef fat in the air. Number 2. Black pudding once stood as the most visceral proof of whole animal thrift in British lunch culture. In butcher shops from Lancashire to the Black Country, trays of dark, glistening sausage made from fresh pig's blood, coarse oatmeal and flecks of suet signalled a meal that wasted nothing. For generations, black pudding was more than a curiosity. It was a staple on fry-up plates and in workingmen's cafes, prized for its richness and iron content. School canteens, especially in the north, served thick coins of pudding alongside baked beans and fried bread, fuel for a long afternoon. Local market records from the 1960s show black pudding outselling bacon in some towns, a testament to its popularity and affordability. Yet as the decades passed, the tide turned. Squeamishness set in, and stories about blood and fat began to overshadow its reputation for nourishment. Nutrition studies praised its protein and iron, but image problems and changing tastes pushed black pudding to the fringes. Today, it's a rare sight at lunch, its deep, earthy flavor remembered mostly by those who grew up with it. A dish once born of necessity, now a contested relic, equal parts pride and discomfort, and a reminder of a time when nothing from the butcher's block went to waste. And finally, in first place, lamb hot pot stands as the soul of northern communal cooking, slow, humble, and quietly proud. In the kitchens of Lancashire and Cumbria, a battered enamel dish would be layered with onions, root vegetables, and the cheapest cuts of lamb, usually neck or scrag end. Slices of potato, carefully overlapped, formed a thick lid, sealing in the juices as the pot disappeared into a low oven for hours. The slow simmer coaxed flavor from every bone and scrap, filling the house with the scent of stewing meat and thyme. Families gathered around the table, ladling out spoonfuls straight from the dish, the top crisp and golden, the bottom yielding rich gravy and tender lamb. Hot pot wasn't just a meal, it was a rhythm, stretching from Sunday through the week, reheated and shared, never quite the same twice. In mining towns and mill villages, neighbours brought their own pots to the bakehouse, letting the heat of communal ovens do the work while they traded news and laughter. The hot pot's true magic lay in time and togetherness, a lunch that waited for you, not the other way round. Today, with quick meals and solitary eating the norm, the slow, steaming comfort of lamb hot pot has nearly vanished from daily life. But for those who remember, the memory lingers, the hiss of escaping steam, the first spoonful on a cold day, and the quiet pride of a dish that made little go a long way. From the humble bubble and squeak at number 15 to the communal lamb hot pot crowned number 1, this countdown has uncovered how British lunches were once defined by thrift, resourcefulness, and a sense of shared routine. The most surprising entries, like the ploughman's lunch, a marketing invention masquerading as tradition, and the once ubiquitous fried bread, now vanished from canteens, highlight just how quickly tastes and social priorities can shift. Across all 15 entries, 2 patterns stand out: the value placed on stretching leftovers into something new, and the powerful influence of changing work patterns, public policy, and health trends on what appeared on British plates. Every dish on this list qualified not just for its former popularity, but for its near-total disappearance today. Together, these lunches tell a broader story, that food history is shaped as much by economics and culture as by flavour. In remembering these forgotten lunches, we glimpse a lost rhythm of daily life, a reminder that what counts as ordinary can vanish almost overnight, leaving only memory and nostalgia behind.